Hello everybody and welcome back to the Fortress of Solitude. Today we're going to be checking out the Joker origin in Batman issues 142 to 144 by Chip Zdarsky, Andrea Sorrentino and Giuseppe Camuncoli. Zdarsky takes a break from his fail-safe Zur-En-Arrh storyline to regale us with the origin story of the Joker with Joker Year 1. Right off the bat, I didn't think this was a good idea at all. To me, Joker doesn't need a fully fleshed out origin. We don't need to know everything about him. I like it when it's left mostly a mystery and he's kind of just this crazy guy who's a bit of an enigma to both us and to Batman. On top of that, I really think there is only so much you can say with the Joker before you start repeating yourself or repeating what other writers have done in the past. Zdarsky seems to fully understand that and decides to swing for the fences and do some really interesting concepts that I'm surprised editorial and DC as a whole let him do. The story, which is couched in Joker telling this to Batman while they are in Blackgate Prison, covers a lot of history, stretching right back to Year Zero and all the way into a possible future. We pick up with Joker not long after his creation at Ace Chemicals, finding himself scared of the Batman, the new vigilante in Gotham, and one responsible for what happened to him, and he is desperate to overcome this fear. This is where Zdarsky brings in Daniel Capillo, one of Bruce's former mentors and character from his Batman the Knight book. Zdarsky has been doing a lot of connections between that book, which seemingly just started out as kind of like a one-off sort of, not Black Label, but kind of Black Label origin for Bruce's stuff, but I like that he's now incorporating aspects of that book and that entire run, more or less, into the history of his run here on the Batman ongoing. Daniel agrees to help train the Joker so he can overcome his fear. However, we learn that Daniel has ulterior motives, wanting to use Batman and the Joker as a sort of experiment to see what will happen when an unstoppable force in Batman meets an immovable object in Joker. While a lot of the 3-issue arc is focused on Joker and his training, it is also surprisingly focused on Jim Gordon and is a kind of Jim Gordon Year 1 story as well, as Jim, in the wake of Year Zero, is busy running down what is left of the Red Hood gang along with various other copycat gangs that have sprung up in their wake. Jim's investigation puts him in the crosshairs of many of his fellow officers who, as it turns out, are mostly all part of the Red Hood gang, including the temporary Commissioner McCloud, who is the new leader after Joker's disappearance. On top of trying to kill Jim, the gang also learns that their former boss Joker is alive and want to take him out as well, bringing both of those storylines together. Joker's training also takes a really awesome turn as Zdarsky uses this to properly explain the whole 3 Jokers concept that Jeff Johns was really keen to do for a minute there, then just kind of left it to go write JSA. Daniel's teachings allow Joker to create and store some other fragments of himself, much like how Batman does with Zur-En-Arrh, and Joker creates 3 personas. The 3 Jokers we've seen in Jeff Johns' stuff. Zdarsky makes it crystal clear though how it all works and happens, and it's just so much more better and coherent of an explanation than what Johns came up with. I can't even remember what Johns was coming up with that 3 Joker stuff. I know he left a lot of mystery box stuff just there and just kind of left to, again, as I said, just go and write the JSA and Stargirl and stuff like that. It was very strange what he had planned for that, and maybe we didn't even get the full scope of what he had planned because things change in comic books all the time. This concept is also used in a way to help justify all of the different Jokers we've seen over the years from writers like Alan Moore and Scott Snyder. It's a cool way to have everything kind of fit together in a nice way and each part matter to the next, and I applaud Zdarsky for going that far with it and not just, wiping the slate clean and going like, this is my origin and this is the one that's canon now, nothing else is. I like that he cobbled from all parts of Joker's origins and continuity and made it all fit together well. The past set storyline isn't the only story, as Zdarsky also jumps into the future in a world overrun by the Joker, who in one final move against Batman unleashes a laughter-based virus that turns all who hear it into Jokers, and the entire world has been Jokerized, leaving only an older, very tired Batman to solve one final case to stop the Joker once and for all. I really loved this portion of the book as it's something we haven't seen yet before. Zdarsky treats Joker in this part like a spirit haunting Bruce as he battles his own Jokerized family and runs down clues relating all the way back to the Red Hood gang story we've been getting in other parts of the book. Zdarsky also lays out the main objective of the story through this plotline, having it revealed that thanks to obviously this training that Daniel has given him, Joker has been on even footing with Batman for pretty much their entire history, and at any point he could have just won against Batman, but he won't since he loves Bruce too much and there can't be a Joker without Batman, and he believes in Batman can't exist without Joker, that sort of stuff. This isn't a new concept to the Batman-Joker dynamic. Grant Morrison, Alan Moore, all those guys have done something similar to this to some degree, and I like here that it hinges on the fact that Joker got some of Bruce's training and that's led to Batman completely underestimating the villain for most of their lives. And it goes back to the one thing Zdarsky has been doing throughout this entire run on the book, which is to make Batman a bit more of a human, a bit more fallible, and less of the know-it-all Bat-God that he kept becoming during the Tom King years and even the Scott Snyder years, that where he was just larger than life and had a plan for everything. And that's the one thing I've really enjoyed about Zdarsky's run, is a Batman who's a bit more fallible, he's human, he makes mistakes, he isn't always correct, and I like that we're going down that route still. Giuseppe Camuncoli and Andrea Sorrentino tag in as the artists for the 3-issue arc, and for the most part the art is quite good. Giuseppe tackles the stuff set in the past, and I like how in some way, I can't really articulate it properly, but it feels like a story set in year zero. Like the art helps it make it feel that way, that sort of New 52 era artwork. His work fits well with the stuff Greg Capullo was doing at the time during that story as well. Andrea's work, however, is rather questionable. So they are tackling the future story stuff, and I've really liked Sorrentino's work in the past, but here it feels, for better lack of a word, lazy. So many of the panels and sequences very obviously used photo stills, as the Batman in the future is very obviously based on the Ben Affleck Batman. This is something Sorrentino has done before, especially in the Batman Imposter book, where the Batman in that was literally just Robert Pattinson. But so many of the renderings look just like they've taken pictures from, Google and just chucked a filter over the top of them, a Photoshop filter over the top of them. It kind of feels like something you'd see a artist like Salvador LaRocca or Greg Land try and get away with. On top of that, there is also the possibility, and other people have also been noticing this in the last couple of days as well, is that maybe AI was used on a couple of the sequences, not the entire book, but on a couple of the panels throughout the sequences. And I don't know, I can't definitively obviously say if that is what happened, but there are definitely little points like Joker's fingers in some things, his body changes shape. Again, that could also just be how they wanted to depict Joker as a sort of ever-changing homunculus spirit demon guy. I could see that definitely being part of the reason why it looks so weird, but there is definitely some parts in there where it does look like it's been run through maybe even just an AI filter to help fill in some gaps. Maybe the 3 issues took a little bit long to create and they just needed something to patch in certain parts. I don't know. That's just what it looks like to me, and it's a little bit disappointing. Zdarsky's Joker Year 1 story arc surprised the hell out of me. It was new and interesting, delivering a cool new angle for a villain and hero whose constant struggle has been done to death at this point. Do I think it was needed? Not really, but I'm glad that it was something totally different than what I assumed the story was going to be. I'm really looking forward to getting back into the failsafe stuff with the next issue, especially because it's tying into the larger DC event being run by Mark Waid later on this year called Absolute Power. So I'm intrigued to see what Zdarsky is going to do when he's writing to build up to a big event that's coming up, and a big event that seems like it's a bit more of a prestige event and not Gotham War again. I'm going to give these issues an 8.5 out of 10.